This is the BSBLDR 523 Assessment 3 role playing. And this far we have got Aria, and Jolene has joined us. Welcome, Jolene. And Sean is there. Sean is in the dark. Sean, Jolene, I still need to see Caitlin and Ansha and Pharrell. Pharrell is not looking at the window. Where are you? Pharrell, where are you? You're here. So, oh, hang on, I'll change that. Oh, okay. Here we are. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's one missing. Who is that? Amcha. Hey? Amcha's not.
We all here.
Are you all here? No.
Yeah. Probably you can separate.
Are you there?
Yeah. Yep. You can.
Oh, there's more.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah, but then then you're not there now.
Oh, because
Okay, radio. Okay, so everybody's here, right? Okay, oh, it doesn't allow me to show more. Okay, we're going to start the presentation. What did you have to present? You need to speak up and clearly. You want to start, Hensha? Yep. You want to start, Aria? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this meeting. So this meeting will be discussing about our procedural document that has a title of Dispute Resolution Procedure and has document code TM006 and effective date 20 October 2025, and it will be reviewed in 10 October 2026. So the purpose of this dispute resolutions procedure is to provide a fair, transparent, and structured process for resolving workplace disputes at CBSA, and it ensures that all employees are treated with respect and that conflicts are handled promptly, confidently, and in accordance with CBSA's code of conduct, which is promotes professionalism, cooperations, and mutual report. And I've listed several objectives of this procedure is to prevent workplace conflicts from escalating, encourage open communication and early resolution, support a safe and positive working environment, and ensure compliance with relevant Australian workplace. And also, this procedure applies to all CBSA employees, contractors, and management involved in any workplace-related disputes, including but not limited to issues regarding communication, workload, load, and discrimination, harassment, or performance concerns. So Here are principles that inform the procedures. First, fairness and impartiality, which is all parties will be treated equally and heard without bias, and confidentiality is action measures, and also respectful communication. All employees must adhere to CBS's code of conduct and communicate professionally. And from resolution, disputes will be addressed as soon as possible to minimize the disruption. And the right to representations. Employees may be accompanied or represented by a support person if desired. And I'm gonna explain what does the support person stand for. So support person stand for a person chosen by any employee, for example, college, union representative, or friend to assist during formal meetings or disputes discussions. So I've break it down the key terms that may be unclear. First, we have dispute, which is a disagreement or conflict between employees, team, or management that affects work performance, communication, or relationship, based on adapted from Fair Work Commission Resolving Workplace Issues 2024. And also mediation, which is a structured process facilitated by a neutral third party to help people in disputes reach a voluntary and mutually acceptable agree based on Fair Work Commission 2024 and Code of Conduct, as we have discussed in previous meeting. But yeah, I just list it to you. CBSA internal policy that outline expected professional and ethical behavior standards for all employees based on CBSA policy and procedures framework 2024. And this procedure also related to the documents, CBSA Workplace Health and Safety Policy that you can search, and CBSA Code of Conduct TM005 that we have just created in previous meeting. And also I've written the procedure that have been created, and also the steps that we can take. At first, informal discussion, which are employees are encouraged to resolve the matter directly with the other person involved in a respectful and private manner. And the goal is to clarify misunderstanding early before formal action is required. And a supervisor may provide advice or assist informally if needed. If it if it's failed, we have option to notify immediate to supervisor. The employees should report the issue in writing to their supervisor or line manager, just through the email or private message. And the supervisor will arrange a confidential meeting within 5 working days until possible outcomes and agreed action will be documented. But if it's fail, we are going to take the formal meditations till be referred to the human resource department or department head for mediation. And a neutral mediator will facilitate a meeting to discuss the problem objectively, and both parties can have a support person, and mediation outcomes are recorded in a dispute resolution record signed by both parties. So for the fourth option, escalation to senior manager. If meditation doesn't lead to an agreement, we are going to escalation. The matter will be escalated to senior management. such as the managing director and senior management will review all documentation and conduct independent interview with each party. And it will be written, the decision will be provided within 10 working days. And lastly, external review. If the dispute remains unresolved internally, the matter may be referred to an external authority such as the Fair Work Commission for disputes relating to the employment conditions or workplace bullying, and Safe Work Australia for issues involving health and safety risk, and as well as CBSA will fully cooperate with any external investigation or recommendation. So here are following the legislative framework, which is HR Fair Work Act 2009 CTH, which is establishes employee rights, workplace disputes mechanism, and fair treatment, and also Work Health and Safety Act 2011 CTH ensure employers manage health, safety, and social risk arising from what is W? And CBSA Human Resource Department will monitor the implementation and outcomes of this procedure, and this policy will be reviewed annually or as required by change in legislation or CBSA operation needs. It will be reviewed in 20 October 2026, this next year, and all of these staff will attend formal resolution, participate respectfully, and follow the procedure. And management will review unresolved disputes and make the final internal decision. And team leaders will support resolutions, ensure fairness and confidentiality, and also create document decision. So that's all for me. Does anyone have any questions?
So does anyone have any questions on what Arya has shared?
You, sir? Do you have any question?
No, I don't have any questions, but I'm doing it purposely so that the students will have some questions. Otherwise, if I have all the questions, then they've got nothing to say. So, does anybody would like to say anything about this presentation?
It's very clear. It's very good.
Need to speak up.
It's already very clear.
It's very clear, yeah. Very comprehensive. It includes everything, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Anything else? I suppose you've presented you've got yours ready and it's probably very similar, is it? Yeah? No comment? Oh, good. Well, thank you very much, Arya. We'll move now to what about Julie? If she remembers to lift her chin and speak up and speak loud and clear, right?
Okay, I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, so thank you for attending this meeting. I'll be talking about the new dispute resolution procedure. So first of all, we'll be talking about the policy statement, which is the purpose of this procedure is to provide a fair, consistent, and confidential process of resolving workplace disputes in a timely and constructive manner. This procedure aims to preserve professional working relationships, promote a positive working environment, and minimize disruption to productivity and morale. It acknowledges that disagreements may occur and provides a structured pathway for addressing them. So the first one would be to facilitate the early and informal resolution of disputes whenever possible. Second is to ensure all parties are treated with respect, impartiality, and procedural fairness. Three is to provide a clear escalation path for disputes that cannot be resolved informally. Fourth is to ensure compliance with all relevant workplace relation legislation. Now we move on to the scope of this procedure, which is it applies to all employees of CBSA involved in an interpersonal workspace dispute. It covers disputes between employees and between employees and their team leaders or managers. It is not intended for use in resolving grievances related to discrimination, harassment, or bullying, which are covered under separate specific policies. As for the background of this policy is a positive and collaborative work environment in central CBSA's values and operational effectiveness. This procedure was developed to equip staff and management with a clear and effective framework for managing conflicts, thereby reducing their negative impact and fostering a culture of open communication and mutual respect. Now, for the principles that inform our policy, it is principles that first, fertility and fairness. All parties will have an equal opportunity to present their perspective without fear or victimization. The process will be conducted in a balanced and unbiased manner. Second is confidentially. All discussions and documentation related to a dispute will be treated as strictly confidential, shared only by those directly involved in this resolution process. Third is good faith and respect. All parties are expected to engage in the process in good faith, demonstrating respect for differing viewpoints in line with the HR 005 Code of Ethics. The timeliness is all step of the procedure will be undertaken promptly to achieve a swift resolution. As for the key terms that I've used for this procedure is dispute and disagreement between two or more employees regarding workplace issues such as allocation, communication styles, or interpersonal differences. The source is the CBSA policy. As the procedural fairness, it is the principle that fair and proper procedure must be followed when making a decision, including the right to be heard and the absence of bias. It is sourced from Fair Work Act 2009. And mediation, it is a confidential process where a neutral third party assists the dispute parties in reaching a mutual acceptable solution. Sourced from CBSA policy. And for the links to other policies, it is the HR 005 Code of Ethics and Employee Code of Conduct, which we discussed in the last meeting. As for the policy created and reviewed, it is created on 12th October 2025, which is the initial version, and will be reviewed next year. In the monitoring, evaluation, and review, this policy will be reviewed annually or in occurrence of any relevant legislative change. Management of CBSA will conduct reviews and consultation at management meeting or on request of the board. As for the procedure, it is online the steps, process of the follow relevant adherence of this policy by each of the rules below. Management will, it is to ensure all staff are trained on and have access to this procedure, appoint and train suitable internal mediators, uphold the principles of confidentiality and procedural fairness throughout the process, implement and monitor agreed outcomes. And as for the team leaders, they will encourage informal resolutions at the team level where appropriate and safe. Second is to facilitate step one discussions if they request by parties, escalate disputes by HR in a timely manner if initial resolution is unsuccessful, support their team members throughout the process, and the staff will attempt to resolve disputes informally and directly with the other parties first. And next is participate in the process in good faith and with respect. And lastly is maintain confidentially regarding the dispute and resolution process. So that's all for the current dispute of resolution procedure. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask them. And thank you.
Yes, I've got one question. When it comes to, first of all, having to attempt to fix the problem first, attempt to resolve it, and then if it doesn't, you need to escalate it. How do you handle trying to attempt to resolve the problem? Can you give me an example?
Sorry?
How would you attempt to resolve the problem?
I mean, it differs from each problem. What problem are they facing? But it's best if they resolve it, and so they don't escalate the problem further first. And if they were to not solve it, they're not able to do it amongst themselves. They actually have to involve more people. They have to have a third party. Then they escalate that further. But if it's possible to just resolve it between the parties or between the peoples themselves first, and just do it by conversation, I mean, that's the best possible solution as as
Okay,
I'm seeing.
right. Does anybody have anybody else has any question? No?
No, no question.
No question? You all happy?
Yeah, okay. Presentation
So
also.
when it comes to we need to escalate the problem, how do you do that?
Escalating a problem. I mean, if they're not able to fix it by themselves, and they don't find a solution or anything, they can involve a third party, or they can involve like a higher up or somewhere from outside their group, their conflict. So the third person will provide the solution for them, or at least um make them have an easier way of communication, so they eventually come to terms with the problem and find peace or find some kind of solution between the two of them. So there's someone else that can help them with the problem instead of just thinking amongst themselves.
Do you think it's a good idea to tell them that we're going to try to resolve the problem now, but if you really can't, we will have to escalate it. It will become more involved. So let's try to resolve it. It gives them an incentive to try to fix it. Because there's a conflict, but a few days later, it doesn't seem so bad. Then you may think, well, maybe I overreacted, really, maybe it's not that bad. Can you see? So, because I don't know if you're like me, but most people um, usually react first. My wife, when she offers to do something, I usually say no. My straight answer is no. And then I think about it, and I think, yeah, I suppose it's not so bad. But my first answer is no, because I'm busy in my mind or I'm preparing something. And if she offers to do something, go for a walk or whatever, I say, nah, I'm not interested. And I think about it, I say, well, I could, I suppose. I can go for a walk, especially at the end of our street. There is a big reserve where you can go, lots of trees. There is a creek, there is ducks, water dragons, Kids can play football along the way. There is a big park a bit further along. It's all under lovely woods and trees, plenty of birds and what have you. So usually it's a bother going for a walk, putting your shoes on, going for a walk, making sure you got a hat, making sure you got a stick so that if you meet any snakes or whatever, you can beat them off. And I think I can't be bothered. But after I've thought of it, I think, oh, well, maybe it's not so bad. So because we are emotional people and we tend to react emotionally first, maybe there is a conflict and we have to handle it. And if we can't fix it, we've got to escalate it, involve more people, go through the same thing again. It might be a good incentive to tell people, well, maybe it would be good to fix it now so that we don't have to go any further. Sometimes you can't, that's all right, but yeah. All right, no other questions? No, no problem. Okay, well, thank you very much, Jolene. That was very good. Um, mm, who else have we got next? Kate, would you like to go next? Yeah? Remember, speak loud and clear across the room, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining today's meeting. So I'll be explaining about the procedure. So I'll start with the policy statement. So the purpose of this policy is to ensure that all workplace disputes are managed fairly, promptly, and respectfully in accordance with CBSA's Code of Conduct, which promotes integrity, respect, accountability, and open communication. And this will provide a clear framework for employees and management to address and resolve disputes in a manner that maintains positive workplace relationships and ensures compliance with legislative requirements. And there are four CBSA commitment is to, first of all, providing a fair and transparent process for resolving disputes. And the second one, encouraging early resolution through open communication and mutual respect. And the third one is protecting employees from victimization or discrimination arising from raising a complaint. And lastly, is to ensure compliance with relevant workplace legislation. This policy applies to all CBSA employees, contractors, and management involved in workplace-related disputes, including issues regarding working relationships, performance concerns, discrimination, harassment, and procedural disagreements. This procedure was developed to ensure consistent and fair management of disputes within the CBSA workplace. And there are 8 principles that inform our policy. The first one is fairness and impartiality. So CBSA ensures that all employees involved in a dispute are treated with fairness, dignity, and respect. I'll explain for each point. So the first one, decisions will be based on facts, not assumptions or personal opinions. And managers and HR representatives handling disputes must remain impartial at all times. And last one, any conflict of interest must be declared before participating in the dispute resolution process. Second one, we have transparency and accountability. The process of resolving disputes must be transparent to all parties involved. Clear communication of each step will occur, including timelines, responsibilities, and possible outcomes. Records of all meetings, discussions, and resolutions will be properly documented and stored securely. Employees will be kept informed of the progress and status of their case. And lastly, CBSA's management is accountable for ensuring all steps are followed in accordance with this policy. Third one, we have confidentiality and privacy. All disputes will be handled confidently to protect the privacy and integrity of all parties. Information shared during the dispute process will only be disclosed to individuals directly involved in managing or resolving the issue. Breaches of confidentiality may result in disciplinary action in accordance with CBSA's Code of Conduct. And lastly, records will be stored in compliance with the Privacy Act 1988. And fourth, we got timeless and efficiency. CBSA recognized that disputes can negatively affect productivity, morale, and workplace relationship if left unresolved. Therefore, disputes should be addressed as early as possible. The organization encouraged informal discussions as a first step to prevent escalation. Formal processes will commence promptly once a complaint is lodged. And lastly, each stage of the process will have defined timelines to ensure efficiency and responsiveness. Fifth, we got respect and professional conduct. All employees are expected to conduct themselves in accordance with CBSA's Code of Conduct, which promotes honesty, respect, and cooperation. Disputes should be handled in calm, professional manner, avoiding aggressive or disrespectful behavior. CBSA promotes open communication to strengthen trust and understanding among team members. And lastly, dispute resolution outcomes should support a positive and harmonious workplace culture. And the other three is the support and well-being. CBSA values the well-being of all employees and recognizes that workplace disputes can cause stress and anxiety. First, employees may request the presence of a support person, such as a colleague, union representative, or HR advisor during meetings. Second, access to counseling or the Employee Assistance Program, or EAP, may be provided where necessary. And managers must ensure that no employee experiences discrimination, retaliation, or disadvantage as a result of raising a workplace concern. The last two, the first one is compliance with legislation and policy. The dispute resolution process will comply with relevant Australian workplace legislation and CBSA's internal policies. First, procedures align with the Fair Work Act 2009, Work Health and Safety Act 2012, and Privacy Act 1988. CBSA will review and update the policy regularly to reflect any legislative or procedural changes. And last one, the organization's commitment to ethical and lawful behavior is non-negotiable and form the foundation of every decision made. And last but not least is continuous improvement. CBSA believes that every dispute presents an opportunity to improve workplace relationships, communication, and organizational systems. First is feedback from employees and management will be used to refine dispute resolution strategies. Second one, patterns or recurring issues will be analyzed to identify and address root causes. And last one, lessons learned will be integrated into future policy reviews and staff training initiatives. We got three key terms. The first one is dispute. It means that a disagreement or conflict between employees or between an employee and management regarding workplace matters. Second one, we got mediation. It means that a confidential process facilitated by a neutral third party to help parties reach a mutual agreement. And the last one is escalation. It means that the process of referring an unresolved dispute to a higher level of authority. And we got the sources at the right side of the table. There are three links to other policies. First one is CBSA Code of Conduct. Second one, Workplace Health and Safety Policy and Equal Employment Opportunity Policy. The policy is created on October 20, 2025, and the next review date will be on October 20, 2026. This policy will be reviewed annually or earlier if legislative or organizational changes occur that affect the dispute resolution process. All updates, improvements, and outcomes of previous disputes will be considered to ensure continuous improvement of the procedure. And monitoring of the policy will include four. First one is reviewing the number and nature of disputes raised and their resolution outcomes, assessing employee satisfaction and feedback, ensuring compliance with the Fair Work Act, Work Health and Safety Act. And the last one is evaluating whether disputes are being resolved effectively at early stages to reduce escalation. There are three of each of the roles. So management will ensure the dispute resolution procedure is effectively communicated to all staff and oversee the consistent and impartial application of the procedure across all departments and ensure mediation or external support services. And regularly review disputes reports, identify recurring issues, and ensure all documentation is securely stored in compliance. And team leaders will act as the first point of contact for employees raising workplace concerns and assist in resolving disputes informally at the earliest possible stage, and record details of discussions and outcomes, maintaining confidentiality and escalate unresolved disputes to management or human resources, and foster a respectful and cooperative team environment. And last but not least, staff will behave respectfully, communicate constructively, and attempt to resolve minor disagreements. Second one, raise ongoing or serious disputes with their team leader or human resources. And last one, participate honestly in all dispute meetings or mediation and ensure information related to disputes remains confidential. I think that's all for today. Do you have any question?
Right. Any questions from anyone? You don't have any? If I'm the only one with questions, does it mean that I'm the only one thinking? Uh, it mentioned that one of the link to other policies is the health and safety policy and equal employment opportunity policy. How would that relate to these policies, do you think, Kate?
How the workplace health and safety is related to the equal employment opportunity?
There are two different ones, the workplace and health and safety. If there was a problem, and it also affects the work health and safety, then it would be a good argument to bring into the argument and to say, well, because of your behavior, you're not following the code of conduct, but you're also causing a danger to other people's health and safety, because our work health and safety policy is one of the policies we have to follow. Also, equal employment opportunity. It could be that what is being said or done upsets somebody because they feel it's not fair for them. If it comes to further employment or having records on their records saying they have a problem, and then when it comes to applying for an improvement in the job or a new position, it may affect their employment and they feel it's not equal because it's not fair on them, because it will be seen in the employment process as there being a problem person in the group. So there is a relation there. It's good to mention that in there. It mentioned, to what degree do you think the leaders or the managers need to get involved? To what degree do you think the managers or the leaders of the group need to get involved? I mean, it's two people unhappy with each other, they made a complaint, they at each other, but where does the manager or the leader fit in all that? Should he get involved at all or not? Should he say, that's not my problem, it's between you two, you fight it out. You fight it out.
To mediate between the two people who have a problem, so there's a right way to, there's a solution to the conflict.
That's right, because they're responsible for the rest of the team. If there's an argument with two people on the team, it doesn't stop there, does it? If there's an argument between two people, it creates a very hard place to work and to be productive for the whole team. It's not just those two people, it's everybody else gets affected by it. So thank you very much. That was very good, Kate. And now we have the next one we've done, Harry, Kate, Jolene. We've got for Sean. Okay, we'll do Sean next.
Sir, I left it from the Zoom because my laptop's suddenly because of
So,
laptop.
what's
Oh,
happened?
battery. Yeah, I left it from the Zoom.
It's out. Is it? You dropped out.
Yeah.
You want to reconnect?
Yeah.
Well, if you go to the link, reconnect, it will come automatically.
All right.
I don't think I have to connect you. I think it happens automatically.
No need.
I can't see you anywhere. Are you connected?
Not yet. Still loading.
Oh, still loading. Okay. Oh, yeah, it is being reconnected. Oh, yeah. He's, yeah, coming. He's the next question. Let's have a look. I think you can go ahead, Sean, and Aya will pop in when he does.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss about dispute resolution procedure. So, well, the next review date is 12 months from nowadays. So the purpose of this dispute resolution procedure provides a clear, fair, and confidential process for resolving workplace disputes at CBSA. It aims to resolve disagreements promptly, professionally, and at the lowest practicable level. The second one is maintain respectful working relationship consistent with the CBSA Code of Conduct and HR 005 Code of Ethics. And the third one is ensure outcomes are lawful, transparent, and protect the health, safety, and privacy of all parties. And for the scope, this procedure applies to all CBSA employees, contractors, and volunteers. It covers interpersonal disputes, alleged breach of the code of conduct, and dispute arising from workplace decision or behaviors. It does not replace statutory complaint processes, but it does sit along them. So the principles that inform this procedure are respect and inclusion. All parties are treated with dignity and fairness. The second one is confidentiality. Matters are handled discreetly and information is shared only on a need to know basis consistent with the Privacy Act 1988. The third one is impartiality. Investigation and decisions are unbiased and evidence based. And the next one is timeliness. Disputes are addressed promptly to minimize impact on workplace well-being. And the last one is escalation. Parties have clear avenues to escalate unresolved matter, including external option where appropriate. And then now we move to related policies and document. There are one, two, there are six related policies and document, which are CBSA Employee Code of Conduct, PM 005. The second one is HR 005 Code of Ethics. The third one is IM 003 Communication Policy and Procedures. The fourth one is IM 004 Health and Safety Policy and Procedures. The fifth one is IM 010 Procurement Policy and Procedures. And last one, Privacy and Information Management Policy. Now for the legislative frameworks, example that shape this procedure, Fair Work Act 2009, Employment Standards and Dispute Resolution Obligation, Privacy Act 1988, Handling and Protection of Personal Information During Dispute Processes, and in quote, other Commonwealth legislation that may apply, Work Health and Safety Act, Australian Human Rights Commission Act 1986. And then for the definitions, complainant, the person who raises the dispute or complaint. Respondent, the person against whom the complaint is made. Mediator, an independent facilitator, internal or external, who assists parties to reach agreement. And investigator, persons appointed to gather facts and provide findings. And then for the procedure step by step, step number 1, informal resolution, immediate or within 5 working days. Employees are encouraged to attempt an informal resolution first by speaking directly, calmly, and and respectfully with the other party. Guidance and coaching may be sought from the team leader or people and culture, PNC. Actions, attempt direct discussion if needed, arrange a short facilitate conversation with a team leader or PNC representative to identify the issue and agree on immediate steps. For the outcome, informal agreement, documented brief note of agreement and follow-up action. If resolved, matter is closed with records retained confidentiality. Confidentially. Step number 2, lodge formal complaint. If informal step fail or within 10 working days, if informal resolution is unsuccessful or inappropriate, the complainant may lodge a formal complaint in writing to people and culture using the dispute or complaint form. The complaint should describe the issue, parties involved, dates, and desired outcome. And for the actions, PNC, which is people and culture, acknowledge receipt within 2 working days and advises on process, confidentiality, and timelines. Interim safety or workplace adjustment may be made if required. Step number 3, preliminary assessment and conciliation within 5 to 10 working days of lodgement. PNC conducts a preliminary assessment to establish jurisdiction, urgency, and whether immediate action is required. PNC may offer conciliation and mediation. internal or external, seek a negotiated resolution, and for the action, schedule mediation within a reasonable time frame. Mediators will not make binding decision but will assist parties to reach agreement. Outcomes of mediation are recorded and signed by participant if agreement reached. Step number 4, formal investigation. If mediation fails or is inappropriate, or commence within 5 working days of decision to investigate. If conciliation is unsuccessful or the allegation requires investigation, serious misconduct, PNC appoints an impartial investigator. The investigator collects evidence, interview parties and witnesses, and prepares a written report with findings and recommended action. Reasonable support is provided to all parties during this stage. And the action, evidence gathering, interviews with complainant or respondent or witnesses, analysis, draft report. Expected time frame, investigation completed within 20 working days or longer if complexity requires. Affected parties are notified of delays. And step number 5, determination and outcomes within 10 working days of final report. The investigator's report and recommendation are reviewed by the policy owner or senior manager. A determination is made about funding and appropriate action, which are counseling, training, warning, disciplinary action, mediation, or termination where warranted. Parties are notified in writing of the outcome and any rights to appeal. And the action, implement outcomes, arrange required training or corrective action, document case closure. Step number 6, appeal an external option within 10 working days of outcome notification. If a party is dissatisfied with the determination, they may lodge a written appeal to senior manager or an appeal panel within a specified time frame. The appeal is reviewed by an independent manager or panel not involved in the original decision. If internal appeal venues are exhausted and concern remain, parties may be advised of external complaint channel, Fair Work Commission, Australian Human Rights Commission, or Ombudsman, where appropriate. Time limits and jurisdictional rules for external bodies apply. Step number 7, and I think it's not the last one. Records, follow-up, and prevention, and it's still ongoing. All records are retained confidentiality in line with the Privacy Act 1988 and CBSA record keeping policy. PNC monitors implementation of outcome and follows up to ensure issues are resolved and repeat incidents are minimized. Aggregate data is used to inform training and policy updates. And for the action, if a real solution cannot be reached, offer addition or extended mediation with an external mediator. implement interim measures to minimize workplace disruption and protect safety, proceed with a formal investigation, and if substantiated, apply appropriate disciplinary measures. If internal processes are exhausted, inform parties of external dispute resolution and legal option. Fair Work Commission, AHRC, or other relevant agency. Consider role adjustment, redeployment, or separation as last resort if relationship irretrievably break down and no safe workable res- workable solution exists. And for roles and responsibilities, management will ensure the procedure is implemented, communication and resource. And the second one is act on finding and support timely implementation of outcomes. And for people and culture, which is PNC, will receive complaints, manage the process, provide impartial advice, coordinate mediation and investigation, maintain confidentiality and records. And for the team leaders, will encourage early informal resolution, support staff, escalate complaint to PNC, and implement local action where appropriate. And for the employees, will attempt informal resolution first where safe, raise concern promptly, participate honestly in processes, and comply with any agreed outcomes. And for the confidentiality and privacy, all dispute-related information is treated as confidential and stored securely. Information is shared only with those who need to know. Records are managed in accordance with the Privacy Act 1988 and CBSA record retention schedules. And last but not least, for the monitoring and review, PNC will monitor dispute trends and report anonymized findings to senior management quarterly. This procedure will be reviewed annually or sooner following significant incident, legislative change, or identified deficiencies. I think that's all for today. Any questions?
Any question from anyone? This was very long, but very good. No questions? Who knows what an ombudsman means? Do you know what does an ombudsman does? Anybody? No? What happens in we're looking at your side there, are we? Yeah. Oh, well, an ombudsman is a person that's been appointed for every different industry. For instance, if I use the telephone ombudsman, if you have too many complaints with Optus or with Telstra or whatever, and there is other people have got complaints as well, instead of you going to court, what happens is the government has set up an ombudsman, a person who would try to handle the problems. Like if I had a problem with my phone, they would say, well, how often does your problem happen, Optus? Well, they never dare to answer the questions, blah, blah, blah. He will say to me, can you put everything in writing? How many times have you contacted them? Give me the dates, give me the times, and then he will contact them. And if he's not happy with their answer, he will charge them Every time there's a complaint about your phone, what you don't know is the ombudsman, if it goes longer than 2.5 days, they will actually penalize the telephone company $3,000 just for one complaint. So you find they quickly respond, trying to fix the problem. I've got a cousin whose wife works for Optus and she handles all the complaints. And she's very quick to answer the complaints because she knows if she's not quick enough, it'll go to the ombudsman and straight away it will charge them $3,000 for every complaint. So she tries to get it fixed as quickly as possible. All right. But look, this was Sean, this was very involved. I've picked up a lot of notes from there. You seem to mention quite a lot on different issues and follow-up actions for these issues. When it comes to a third-party investigation, it becomes very involved. I ask you one question. Why do they have to have a third-party person who doesn't know anybody in the discussion to handle the third-party problem? Try to handle it inside with everybody knowing each other. It's not working. Then we involved a third party. Someone who's got nothing to do with our group is invited to be part of the discussion to see if he can help the problem. And then if he can't, or if he can or can't do anything, he ends up having to write a report. Why do we involve the third party, do you think? Sean?
Backup.
Eh?
Backup.
For a backup? Yeah. It's got to be a party that knows nothing about nothing else. Therefore, he comes in, he gets given all the facts, he speaks to every individual person, the people that have complained, the people that are complained against, the management, the people who handle the programs, and then he writes his report. And then he says, my opinion is that management is too difficult, or you're making too much of a fuss about this, or this person is wrong and they don't want to admit they're wrong, or whatever. And basically, that gives an external support to show that it's not you against a person, but it's someone else who's looked at it, knows nothing about anybody else, and makes a decision about what's happening. That's what happens in courts. In courts, if there is not enough evidence against someone, they involve people of the jury. They come to judge the situation. They know nothing about the situation. They hear all about it at court. They're not allowed to speak to anybody else for a week or two or whatever. And then they have to decide whether that person is guilty or not. And then their decision is seen as the truth in a court of law. And I've been invited twice to go to court, and I've never made it for some reason or other. I didn't get there. I had something else on or whatever. My wife has been though, and she said it's very interesting how a group of people can use the same facts, and some people can be so strong. He's guilty, no matter what, blah blah blah. And she had to stand up to one person who was an ex-army colonel, and he was pushing his way around. Everybody was agreeing with him because they didn't want to have a fight with him. And my wife said to him, well, no. She said, I think what you're deciding there is wrong because it had to be unanimous. Everybody had to agree with the verdict. And she said, no, I will not agree with that because I think on this issue, you're wrong, you're pushing your way around, and you're frightening other people for having a say. So I think That's wrong in the process, and therefore I will not agree with that decision. So that's why you involve a third party group. Okay, we'll go now to the next person. What about if we do Farrell and then we'll do Ensha last? Yeah. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Today's meeting topic is gonna be about policy for dispute of resolution conflict. So, this dispute resolution procedure describes CBSA's structured approach for resolving workplace conflicts and disagreements in a fair, timely, and confidential manner. It supports CBSA's values and complements the Employee Code of Conduct and HR 005 Code of Ethics. The procedure aims to protect employee well-being, maintain productive working relationships, and ensure legal and procedural fairness when disputes arise. This policy applies to all CBSA employees, contractors, volunteers, and managers at all CBSA work sites and for work-related matters. It covers interpersonal disputes, alleged breaches of the code of conduct, harassment, bullying, and other workplace relationship matters. The background for this is recent increases in interpersonal disagreements and complaints have highlighted the need for a clear, consistent procedure to resolve disputes. Formalizing the approach will provide clear steps employees and managers should follow, encourage early informal resolution where possible, ensure complaints are handled confidentially, fairly, and in accordance with legislation and CBSA policies, and minimize disruption to operations and support staff well-being. This procedure draws on CBSA's HR 005 Code of Ethics, HR 10 Employee Code of Conduct, and HR 9 Disciplinary Procedure, and HR 6 Communication and Consultation Policy. Principles that inform our policy is first one, early resolution. This is to encourage parties to resolve disputes promptly and informally where reasonable. Second one, confidentiality and privacy limits disclosure of information to those who need to know and follow privacy obligations. Third one, impartiality and fairness. Investigations and decisions will be impartial, evidence-based, and consistent. Safety and non-retaliation. Parties raising concerns in good faith will be protected against victimization and reprisal. Proportionality and transparency. Responses and sanctions will be proportional to the seriousness of the conduct, and processes will be transparent to the parties involved. Key legislation that informs this procedure are Fair Work Act 2009 Commonwealth, and Work Health and Safety Act 2011 Commonwealth, and Privacy Act 1988 Commonwealth. Some key terms in this document are complainant, which means the person who raises a dispute or complaint. Respondent, the person against whom a complaint is made. Mediation, a voluntary facilitated discussion led by an impartial third party to help parties reach agreement. Formal complaint, a written report submitted to HR detailing the nature of the dispute and the desired outcomes. Conciliation, a structured process, often conducted by an external body, to assist parties to reach settlement. These are some of the links to the other policies. There are HR 10, Employee Code of Conduct, HR 5, Code of Ethics, HR 9, Disciplinary Procedure, HR 6, Communication and Consultation Policy, HR 7, Workplace Health and Safety Policy, and HR 8, Privacy and Confidentiality Policy. This policy was created on 20 October 2025 It's the initial creation and will be reviewed on 20 October 2026. The procedure. The following steps describe the expected pathway for managing disputes. Timeframes provided are guidelines. Urgent matters, example safety risk, serious allegations will be prioritized and may be fast-tracked. Step 1 is to encourage early and informal resolution, employee to employee. Employees are encouraged to first try and resolve minor disagreements directly, respectfully, and promptly with the other person. Use CBS's communication guidelines to focus on facts, impact, and desired outcome. If either party prefers a team leader, may facilitate a short meeting to clarify issues and agree actions. This should be done within 5 working days of the issue arising where reasonable. And if resolved, document the agreed actions informally, email or meeting note, and retain for 3 months. Step 2. Seek assistance from a team leader or supervisor. If direct discussion does not resolve the matter or is inappropriate, the employee may escalate to their team leader or supervisor. The supervisor will meet individually with the parties to understand the issue and attempt facilitated mediation or negotiated solutions. Supervisor documents the meeting, agreed steps, and follow-up plan. Time frame: supervisor to respond within 3 working days of escalation and resolution attempt within 10 working days. If resolved, document the outcomes and monitor implementation. And step 3, lodge a formal complaint to HR. If the dispute remains unresolved, the complainant may lodge a formal written complaint to HR, and the complaint should include facts, dates, witnesses, impact, and desired outcome. HR acknowledges receipt in writing within 2 working days and informs the respondent, providing procedural information and confidentiality expectations. HR assesses whether the matter requires interim steps, for example, temporary separation of parties, workload reallocation, and so on, to manage safety and minimize risk. The time frame for this is to acknowledge within 2 working days and preliminary assessment within 5 working days. Step 4, investigation and formal resolution process, which is HR-led. HR conducts a fair, timely, and confidential investigation, interviews complainant, respondent, and witnesses, collects documents and evidence, and parties may be accompanied by a support person. Findings are assessed against relevant policies, code of conduct, and legislation. HR proposes outcomes which may include mediation, training, counseling, performance management, or disciplinary action per HR 9 disciplinary procedure. The investigator prepares a written report of findings and recommended actions. Both parties are informed of outcomes and any sanctions subject to privacy obligations. Time frame is investigation completed within 20 working days of receipt of formal complaint unless complex. If resolved, implement recommended actions and monitor for compliance and effectiveness. Step 5, internal appeal and review. Either party may request an internal review or appeal of the decision by lodging a written request to the governance manager within 10 working days of receiving the outcome. An independent senior manager will review the matter and may confirm, vary, or set aside the original decision. If internal avenues are exhausted and the dispute remains unresolved, parties may be advised of external options. HR will provide information on relevant external bodies and processes and preserve records required for external processes. Internal review completed within 15 working days of the appeal request, and HR to provide referral information to external bodies within 5 working days of request. Step 6, post-resolution monitoring and preventative action. HR and the relevant manager monitor the workplace for recurrence and ensure any remedial actions are implemented. CBSA records any anonymized trend reports, informs training, policy updates, and cultural intervention to reduce future disputes. Time frame for this is monitoring for a minimum of 3 months following a resolution, or longer if the risk remains. Actions in the event of serious misconduct or where safety is at risk. Allegations involving serious misconduct may lead to immediate suspension from duties pending investigation in accordance with HR 9 disciplinary procedure. If workplace safety is threatened, take immediate steps to protect staff and remove the alleged perpetrator from the workplace. Provide support to the affected employee and notify the authorities if necessary. Serious matters may be reported to external regulators or law enforcement where required by law. Roles and responsibilities. Management will model respectful behaviors and ensure staff are aware of and trained in this procedure, and ensure timely impartial handling of disputes and provision of support to staff. HR. They will receive and manage formal complaints, conduct investigations, provide advice and referrals, and maintain records securely and confidentially. Ensure legal compliance and also report anonymized trends to management. Team leaders or supervisors are to facilitate early resolution, support staff through the dispute process, escalate when required, implement interim safety measures. Employees are to attempt for informal resolution where appropriate, raise concerns promptly, participate honestly in investigations, respect confidentiality and non-retaliation obligations. So that is it for this policy. Is there any questions?
Wow, that was long, but it was good. Anybody else any questions? Now we're all hungry and we want to go to lunch, right? Okay, so we'll go straight to Ensha. Comments very good, Farrell. We'll go straight to Ensha, and then we can go to lunch after that. Mhm. Ensha is coming. He is. You need to speak up clearly.
Okay. Hang on.
Mhm. You might need to make your document wider or larger if you can.
Okay.
Because the writing is very small.
What about this?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we're running our meeting today talking about the procedure, which is dispute resolution. Well, our policy statement, the purpose of this policy is committed to maintaining a respectful, safe, and productive workplace. This dispute resolution procedure provides a clear, fair, and timely process for resolving interpersonal conflicts, performance related to disputes, and workplace relationship issues so that staff can continue to work with dignity and confidence. The procedure supports CBSA's Code of Conduct and HR 005 Code of Ethics and seek to protect health, safety, and procedural fairness for all parties. Our objectives to ensure disputes are addressed early, respectfully, and confidentially, provide an accessible step-by-step pathway from informal resolution to formal investigation and external referral if required. Next, ensure outcomes are consistent with CBSA values, the HROO5 Code of Ethics, and legal obligation under Australian workplace law, including the Fair Work Act 2009 and Work Health and Safety Act 2011. This policy and procedure supports CBSA obligation under the Fair Work Act 2009 and the Work Health and Safety Act 2011 and relevant state territories laws. It also aligns with CBSA policies on code of ethics, bullying, and harassment, privacy, performance management, and grievance handling. Our scope it applies to all CBSA employees, include full-time, part-time, casual, contractors, and volunteers while undertaking CBSA's business or on CBSA premises. Our background is to recognize that disagreements something occur, left unmanaged, they harm well-being, productivity, and team cohesion. This formalized procedure replaces ad hoc approaches and ensure consistent, fair management of disputes in line with organizational values and legislative requirements. Principles that inform our policy: first, early resolution to encourage informal conversation where safe and appropriate. Confidentiality: information is managed on a need to know basis. Third, partiality: investigation, mediation, and decision are made free from bias. Natural justice: persons affected are given a fair chance to present their view. Safety first: immediate action will be taken where workplace health or safety is at risk. Here's some procedure. Got a step-by-step dispute resolution process. I'm gonna explain it in a quick way. Step one is early informal resolution, and there's action and outcome. Step two, assisted mediation. Step three, formal written complaint, which is need 14 or 21 days. Step four is formal investigation within 20 working days. Step five, implementation and monitoring one, following the outcome. Step 6, appeal and escalation within 10 working days of the outcome. And lastly, the step 7, external resolution if internal processes fail. And our key term is first, there is a complainant, meaning the person who raises or lodge a workplace dispute or complaint. Sources our CBS internal, which is our own policy. Second, respondent, the meaning of respondent, the person against whom a complaint or dispute has been raised. The sources come from CBS internal. Mediation, a confidential, voluntary, and structured process in which a neutral third party assists disputing employees to identify issues and reach a mutually acceptable solution. The sources come from the Framework Commission 2024. Fourth, investigation, a formal process conducted to gather information and determine facts in response to a complaint or alleged breach of policy. From the Fair Work Ombudsman, dispute any dispute is any disagreement, conflict, or grievance arising from workplace relationship, behavior, performance, or condition of employment. We got from Fair Work Act 2009. Links to other policy, it's quite similar from our previous meeting, which is talking about the code of conduct. There is a HRO5 code of ethics, HRO10 diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, IT003 privacy and confidentiality procedure, WHS001 workplace health and safety policy, HR007 grievance and complaint resolution procedure, TM001 communication and email template policy, TM005 policy and procedures template. Some it's created from 20 October 2025 and will be reviewed in the next year, 20 October.
This procedure will be reviewed annually or sooner if there are legislative changes, significant incidents, or at the request of senior management. Records of disputes and outcomes will be maintained securely by HR for monitoring and continuous improvement. Our procedure management will promote a workplace culture, respectful behavior, and early resolution. Ensure managers and HR are trained to apply this procedure fairly, implement required outcomes, and protect staff from victimization. Human resources, people and culture. First, manage the dispute resolution process objectively and consistently. Second, provide mediation, investigation, and documentation support. Third, maintain confidential records and ensure compliance with legislation. Team leaders encourage informal resolution and offer early coaching. Escalate matters to HR when needed and support implementation of interim measures. Staff first attempt courteous discussion were safe. Second, raise concern promptly and cooperate with investigation. Third, not victimize or retaliate against anyone who raises a complaint in a good faith. That's all from our procedure. Is there any comment or any question?
Any comment from anyone? You're okay? Good. Well, I got no comments. It's very good, very comprehensive. I'm happy with it.
Yes, sir.
Very good work, Ansha. Thank you very much. So I think we've completed everyone, haven't we?
Yep.
Everyone is completed. Okay, so we may as well stop recording. Oh no, I've forgotten to record. No. Stop recording and then we'll send you the video when we can. Okay.